made the announcement a couple of hours ago. We're going to have full coverage for you. But first, a breaking story. You're looking at live pictures coming in from the area around North Mountain. Now, you can see there are all kinds of first responders who responded right into that neighborhood. There'd been reports, and you can imagine the concern because take a look right there as Sky Fox begins the process of just flying away. Here's what happened. There was a report that came in that there was a little 3-year-old child that was missing in that area and might have gone up into that mountain trail. Well, everybody was able to stand down in the last few minutes. They realized there was some miscommunication there. The child was safe and sound and at school. 3 years old, probably at a preschool. But boy, you can imagine there were plenty of hearts and throats in that family and amongst first responders. But all's well, the child has been found. Now, on to this story that really, I think, kind of sends shockwaves through the family of flyers, because I do think a lot of people who are loyal to Southwest Airlines stay very loyal. You are looking, but I wonder now, after this, you are looking live at Sky Harbor Airport. Yep, that's a great shot of Terminal 4 and all those Southwest planes. As we chat about this live for the next couple of minutes, we might see one come in or take off. As you well know, Phoenix is one of their big hubs. Well, here's the story. The airline that forever has really kind of pinned its whole philosophy on bags fly free is no longer going to be flying most bags for free. I know, it's a shocker. Matter of fact, I'm going to go right to the chat box this morning as folks join us on the Fox Local app and especially on YouTube. We definitely get plenty of response. So here's the story, you guys, and then I'm going to check for some of your chat just about this. Beginning on the 28th of May, passengers who book flights in every fare except for like the most expensive fare are going to have to pay to get their bags checked. So the background is that there's this company that specializes in going into what they feel are undervalued companies, undervalued stocks. It's called Elliott Investment. They took a big stake in the company. In fact, they managed to land 5 seats on the board of directors, and they've been pushing for change. And it turns out that they were the ones that were pressuring them to go with a different philosophy when it comes to how you board on Southwest Airlines, where basically if you walk down the aisle, you see a seat, you take it, you grab it. What about going with assigned seating? So they were behind that big push. But now, what about this? Beginning on May 28th, bags will have to be paid for. We don't know the exact amount. That's not been announced yet. By the way, Anita joins as well. Good morning,
Good morning,
Anita.
everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, it's a happy Tuesday.
Terrific Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what Linda is saying, one of our most loyal viewers. Glad we don't do checked bags anyway.
We don't either, Linda. We are strictly carry-on only.
Jen's Wall says, I don't fly Southwest. And Nevada Pup says she has not had a good experiences with Southwest. Actually, she says, I used to love flying with them, but it's awful that they have made this change. And Kim says, I never really liked Southwest anyway. These are the raw, unvarnished opinions of folks who have been joining us this morning in the chat. But check this out, Anita. I did a little bit of checking on this whole story.
Of course.
Would you believe that when you combine the top 20 airlines in the world, do you have any idea how much they make per year just on bag charges? I'll give you a hint. It's more than $1 billion.
One airline?
Just the top 20 airlines combined, top 20 airlines.
I couldn't even imagine. It's what, $25 a bag if you don't have all the...
I think it's 35.
Wow.
And so that's what the speculation is, that Southwest will charge 35. They could, maybe smooth the waters with their flyers if they came out with a lower fee, right? If they went with 10 or 20 and maybe gradually raised it, something like that. Well, the answer is, do you want to give me a guess?
No, I have no idea.
33
oh, gosh.
billion
Billion with a B.
dollars they
Wow.
make, just the top 20 airlines in the world with baggage fees. But
Mm-hmm.
Southwest, it was always kind of cool. They joke around on the plane. It's just you get on those planes and you just feel like you're having a little bit more fun. But boy, this one was a shocker. And again, if you fly Southwest, get ready because May 28th is the day that it's going to go into effect. Let me just see if we have any other comments.
We
What were you going
do.
to say? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
RLSVIDZ. More fighting for overhead bins. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, RLS Vids. He
RLS
always
Vids.
has some pretty good
Yeah.
commentary, that's for sure.
That's exactly what's going to happen because people aren't going to want to pay the fee. They're going to take the overhead or the carry-on, and then everyone's all anxious trying to get on there, put their stuff away.
Also, Kim is on there saying, you know what, they're in the business to make a profit, which is a good point.
Yeah, they are.
And there once
They're
more
Southwest right now.
is the view of those Southwest planes. I see tails going each directions. I think that means somebody's getting ready to push back and head out. So nice day for flying, that's for sure. But now you know the story. And Jen's wall. Did you see what she just said? You could always put 3 or 4 outfits on and just take them off when you get to your destination. Thank you, Jen's
That's a good
wall.
one. That's a
Yeah,
good
that's for
one.
sure. We have the very best viewers with the comments. All right. Have you flown Southwest? Or I don't really
Never.
know. Do you have a different airline? You've never flown Southwest? Who do you like to fly?
We fly American when we go to Chicago or Florida to visit my parents.
Mhm.
And then depending on price, when we do any type of overseas travel, it's American or Delta.
All right. Let's go on to our next story here because we did finally get some video in. I don't know if you heard about it, but in the entire war of Russia's war on Ukraine, we have not seen until today this level of attack from Ukraine on Russia when it comes to a massive drone attack. In fact, we get some pictures coming in right now. There's just a kind of an ambulance parked there, but I want to show you some of the better pictures here as it looks like this particular apartment building was hit very hard. You might remember 3 days ago, the president of the Oval Office said, hey, I believe his quote was, Russia's bombing the hell out of Ukraine, and they were tired of dealing with it. Can you see in the upper left-hand corner, the top couple of stories there, looks like they really got hit with plenty of damage as they started to fire off these drones. Now, there are talks going on today in Saudi Arabia. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is there in Jeddah, and he's meeting directly with the Ukrainians.
My understanding is Volodymyr Zelensky is not there. Is that correct?
Well, the pictures I saw, he was not in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's what we reported yesterday. Things change, a fluid situation.
Yeah, now it's also interesting that Arizona Senator Mark Kelly,
correct.
These don't get pre-announced because it's still, you're in a war zone. But then we learned that Senator Kelly from here in Arizona had gone to Ukraine and wanted to share some of his thoughts after what he had seen. And here you go.
Vladimir Putin is a criminal. He has murdered Ukrainians. He commits war crimes routinely. He wants to rebuild the Soviet Union. This isn't up for debate. He has said this. He wants his legacy to be taking back these countries.
So he said when he was there that he was really encouraged by the fighting spirit. By the way, these are some of the pictures that were taken right there. I mean, he's right there on the ground, right in the heart of Kyiv.
Wow.
Here he is meeting with some military leaders as well. So, let's face it, Ukraine is in the news, and the senator wanted to get over there and check it out. By the way, there you go. Anita, you asked, we delivered. There's the picture of Marco Rubio and other U.S. negotiators, and there are the Ukrainian representatives. And you're right, there is no Volodymyr Zelensky there. But we have several other stories we want to talk about today, including an update on the missing college student. Now, this is, to me, is just really interesting, Anita, because you have this 20-year-old who was just out on the beach last Thursday. And so she was staying at a resort in Punta Cana. Have you ever been to Dominican Republic?
I have not. My parents have.
Yeah. So she was staying there, and it's a popular spot for college kids from the East Coast. on spring break, and they are sticking so far with their theory, local police, that she apparently drowned. Now, a couple of thoughts here to share with our audience. Number one, Fox is reporting the FBI is joining the search. That's number one. So it's actually ramping up. Number two, a couple of friends are saying, actually, it was somebody who else was staying at the resort. And again, this is from Fox, that the waves were a lot larger than normal. And this particular lady said, I did not feel safe going in with waves that large. She said a couple of her friends went in, but not for long because they were a lot bigger than normal, which makes you think maybe there is something to that argument that she just went into the water and possibly got swept away. And if that's the case, it could be a long time before her body were to be discovered.
Well, I heard reports this morning on Fox as well that they're talking to a young man
Who was last seen with her,
from the States.
right?
And they are questioning him once again. And then they also quoted, they didn't have him on, but they quoted one of the investigators who was looking for Natalie Holloway, who said at this point, if she did drown, they do think that the body would have washed up somewhere,
Oh,
that it would not be
okay.
missing. That
All right.
again,
Yep.
this is one person's opinion. Anything can happen. We don't know the circumstances. We don't know the time. She was out there alone, right? And
Yes.
those were the reports. So it's very tragic. I do hope that they find her, and I hope they find her safe, and I hope they find her quickly.
And we, of course, get a lot of our information from Fox. They also had an interview with a private detective who has gone all the way back and researched the Natalie Holloway case. And he said, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I don't believe she
Right,
drowned.
and this is the same gentleman that I'm just talking
Yeah.
about as well then.
Right.
And that's why he said had she drowned, the body would have washed up already. He's concentrating, it seemed, more on maybe someone else
Well,
or yeah.
Of course, they really got to focus on that particular guy that was with her. All right, time for a quick break, as we always do here at 13 after. And now take a look. There's a bridge way off in the distance here, kind of a smallerish town with a water tower to the left. And who knows, what is that over to the right? Maybe a refinery, something like that. It's Mystery Cam time. Give us your guesses. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. We have Skywatch Aviation watching today and commenting. We appreciate you. Anytime we see somebody who's new in the chat box, we love to give them a shout out. Hope you'll join us a lot. Sherry Nevada Pup is saying Oklahoma. Louis Gonzalez is saying Texas. I'm just focused on that big old bridge over there and
We
trying
have
to
a lot
figure
of
out.
guesses for Texas. Galveston was one of them. Let me see what else we have. B. Miguel says Texas. Linda says Texas. Kim says Texas.
Yeah.
Skywatch Aviation says St. Louis.
Okay, so what do you think, Anita?
I'll go Texas.
Okay. Then I'll go with Skywatch, and I'll say it's somewhere in the great state of Missouri. Ready, everybody? Here comes your answer. Anita on cam with
Oh, there we go.
the answer right here in
I'm
the
getting
old
some behind
envelope.
the scenes video as
Oh,
well.
good for you.
Yeah,
Ready?
yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
Okay.
Let's see where it is.
All right, all you Texans, yeehaw. Port Arthur.
Oh, is that
Texas.
right? Boy, you
Yeah.
guys are smarter than us.
Very.
Yeah, although I need to jump right on with you. Yeah.
I've learned to trust our trusty viewers.
Yeah, well, maybe some folks have been through Port Arthur and have seen that bridge. That's for sure. All right, on to some of the other stories we're talking about today. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, has confirmed the arrest of Mahmoud Khalil, who is a green card holding Columbia University graduate and pro-Palestinian activist. And here's what he said on social. We will be revoking the visas and or green cards of Hamas supporters in America so they can be deported. Now, they don't like this at all on the campus at Columbia, and there have been protests ever since the news came out about 48 hours ago, including this.
Our message to Washington is that we are not silenced, we are not afraid, and we stand together, determined to defeat this ongoing assault on our fundamental rights.
So he is a Palestinian immigrant. As I said, he is a green card holder. But a spokesman for Homeland Security said in a statement that the move is in support of President Trump's executive order prohibiting anti-Semitism. There were more reports. You know, there have been some violent protests on a number of college campuses, and the latest reports coming out of Columbia. And the next thing you know, the president said we're going to hold back some funding because they can't get control of this situation. Our poll question is this. Over 200 of you have already voted. And so should he be deported? He's been arrested. I understand he's now being held in ICE custody, I believe I think I heard in Texas. 67% of you say yes. If he supported Hamas, he should be deported right now. 11% say yes. You know, though, the school's also at fault for not doing more to crack down on anti-Semitism. And about a quarter of you are saying no, not at all. There's still such a thing as free speech in the USA. So you can go and vote on that, and we always love to get your input. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest today here in the streaming studio. It's Justin Lum.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Justin.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to pop your mic open right here. Let me just ask you, Justin. Lori Vallow, Daybell Vallow, she has not been in the news for months. Now, all of a sudden, there's great interest because court activity is starting to fire up again. What happened today?
Yeah, it was a busy day in court. We had a 1-hour hearing. Usually these status hearings take about 15 minutes, sometimes less than 30 minutes. But we covered a lot. The big argument we thought we were going to hear more about was whether or not this trial starting March 31st, this murder conspiracy trial, will be live streamed. Now, Court TV has requested to be the pool camera. They would like to live stream it. Lori Vallow Daybell has objected to that. The state has also objected to live streaming, but cameras don't seem to be an issue at all. We also covered trial scheduling, jury questionnaires, how many people in the pool will come in and be questioned, and then discovery, housekeeping, as well as some specific statements made by a victim of hers, her own daughter, Tylee Ryan, and her late brother, Alex Cox. So that was all discovered today, as well as trial number 2 and when that could happen, because we have 2 trials that go sort of back to back.
Okay, they won't run concurrently, though, right? It's
No,
to be one
no.
and then right after the other. Let me just share with our audience some of the video. You were just in court, just 2-3 blocks away from the Fox studios there. And so you've got Judge Justin Beresky, who was making some rulings. So are you saying cameras in the courtroom are just fine? Was that...
We're going to find out more details. So Court TV had an attorney come in and say, we have 2 small cameras that can be operated remotely, and they're less invasive, and we cover this trial and we'll distribute to media outlets, and it's up to the media to follow the rules set by the judge as far as a delay. But live stream is the key here. Will it be able to be live streamed in real time?
Okay, so a question. Her concern isn't necessarily that the cameras are invasive.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so that she says they have slandered her.
Yes.
And so is she worried about what type of equipment, or is she simply worried about the camera, number one? Question number two, for viewers who may not understand or know, because sometimes we get a little confused. What is the difference between live streaming and then us maybe having a camera and running something at the 5 o'clock news?
Yeah, so as far as the court TV beef, whatever that is, with Lori Vallow Daybell, this was an issue in Idaho where in one hearing they had a camera that was focused solely on her. And she brought that up. She said in her experience, there was one solo shot of her and they left it on her for much of that hearing. And so, you know, her fears that there won't be a fair and impartial jury and there'll be prejudice and oversaturation in the case. That led to the banning of cameras in Idaho for her case and her trial. And we went back in time, did audio, and no cameras were in there, had a sketch artist, and that was that. So in this case, I don't know if she's against cameras live streaming at all, but she seems to be against court TV because of the coverage she believes has been slanderous. But I'm told that she doesn't get court TV in the jail, so she must be getting that information from somewhere about how many promos run on the Daybell case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, if you would. Just give us like a one-sentence headline from each of these next two trials. What is trial number one? What is trial number two? And do we have any idea on the time frame?
Lori Vallow Daybell accused of plotting her then-husband's murder.
This is Vallow, Charles Vallow.
This is Charles Vallow. That's the headline for number one.
And
It
that was
accused
out, that was
That's
out
here.
in Gilbert.
Yeah,
That's Chandler.
Chandler.
So accused of
Okay.
plotting her previous husband's demise due to her alleged doomsday beliefs and a motivation of life insurance. That is that headline. The
So
second
plotting, not necessarily murdering.
no, she did not pull the trigger, and
Well, she allegedly drove away,
she
right?
drove
She
away
was
right
not-
after. She
Yeah.
was there. She was
Right.
there. We know that from police
Yeah.
reports and
Right.
from interviews. Alex Cox, her brother, pulled the trigger after an alleged fight, and he had been allegedly hit with a baseball bat by Charles. But we don't have Charles's story. We only have Lori, Alex, and her daughter, who was in the car at the time.
When they left and went to a
They
drive-thru.
leave and go to Burger King. They go to
After they
Walgreens
shot him.
after the shooting,
Yeah.
after she knows that he's been shot.
Yeah.
And they drive to JJ, her also murdered son that she is convicted of killing, to school. She comes back about an hour later. Alex Cox does not call 911 for 45 minutes. And there's no indication that he tried CPR, even though he seemed to be doing CPR over the 911 call.
And
So
then
those were the suspicions.
And then just real quickly, trial number two.
Trial number two, another doomsday plot where Lori Vallow Daybell is accused of planning the shooting of her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. That was in Gilbert, and Brandon Boudreaux was on Team Charles, also on the side of we need to get Lori help because this is also affecting his wife at the time, Melanie Boudreaux. She followed her aunt and followed those beliefs and was starting to sort of be very influenced by her.
Okay, by the way, you can grab that QR code. That QR code is going to get you lots of information. Fox 10 Phoenix, not only do we have great coverage of it, but also you're going to have a lot of coverage on YouTube.
Yeah, we
Correct.
are going to be, our goal is to stream the entire trial for everyone to see and to
Right.
talk about it in live analysis as far as when we come on during breaks and bring in guests, legal analysis as well from lawyers who may not be, are not tied to the case, but also we have some sources that have, followed this for a long time. So we'll have a lot of good commentary there.
We really, your coverage has just been phenomenal on the first case or cases. Can't wait
Yeah.
to see what you do. By the way, Justin, on a non-related topic, did you happen to see this last weekend once the snow came and went what it looked like out there on the hinterlands? I present to you
Wow.
and to Anita. Look at that shot.
Beautiful.
Now, I don't know. If you knew who the photographer was that took that picture,
We know him, and
would
we
you
know him
say
well.
that photographer is award-winning and should probably be in Arizona highways on a regular basis?
Absolutely.
Justin, yes or no?
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot.
So I was driving around Apache Junction. They have that new neighborhood out there called Blossom Rock.
It was you.
And I did. I mean,
Good thing you said yes,
you
Justin.
know, so that's the superstitions to the right, but we had all that snow. And here's the reason we're talking about it. Justin, you want to just hang with us for the last 3 minutes?
Sure.
We got 3
Okay.
minutes.
The reason we're talking about it is we have 3 waves of snow, Anita, coming, right? We've been hanging out with Crystal.
Potential.
Yeah.
That third storm, she's, just waiting to watch because it's a little far away.
The first one is today, and there
Yes.
could be a couple of inches, 1 to 3. And then on Thursday, she says that's the big one,
Right.
and then possibly one more on Saturday. We're talking about up to 12 inches of additional snow in Flagstaff.
And of course,
Wow.
rain in the valley.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And then she's saying up to 6 inches up in Pine Top Lakeside. So it looks like the whole northern half of the state. But this only happens about 1 day a year.
If
Yeah,
not-
we got rain last week, like one day.
Friday.
It was
Yeah.
Friday.
Friday. It was
I don't
Friday. Oh,
remember.
we know it well.
And it was Friday, and then it was fine. But
Yeah.
And it wasn't even. Well, no, but we had rain pretty much
I'm-
all the way through the evening.
I'm getting nervous because my daughter's birthday party's on Saturday, and it's outdoors. But I'm hoping for no rain.
I am so glad you mentioned your daughter. She's how old?
She's gonna be 4.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
There is a story
So-
out today that parents spend more than 60 hours a year negotiating with their kids
This is going to be good.
to get them to eat their meals. Do you guys have a tried and true method to actually, or does she just love everything you give her?
She's very picky. Yeah, so
Oh,
there's a
is
lot
she?
of negotiating.
Okay.
60 hours
So,
plus overtime.
so are you bribing her?
We don't want to bribe, but there are some times where like we have something exciting to do next, and that's kind of used like,
Oh,
hey, if you just
yeah.
have a couple more bites,
We
we're
get
not
to
gonna
go.
force you to finish it all, but you gotta eat some
So
more.
the
like-
negotiations get that specific.
yeah,
3 more bites and we
Yes.
can go to the park.
Exactly.
2 won't cut it.
yeah, that usually works. It's the park or wherever we're going next,
Yeah.
or dessert.
Is
Well,
there anything
all
that
the-
she really doesn't like?
Vegetables, right? Like who
Vegetables.
likes
I know.
vegetables?
Okay, so here, this is interesting because they did this whole survey. We've only got a minute left, but 37% of parents say their number one complaint they hear from their kids is, I don't like vegetables. And then the second most common complaint is, it doesn't smell good. And the third is, I don't like the way it looks. And the fourth is, it's too spicy. And the fifth is, it's too mushy.
Oh.
Spicy.
Yeah.
It could be like a tomato, and that's
And that's
spicy.
spicy.
She doesn't want that.
For a 4-year-old, it's all of the above.
Yeah.
Anita, I think we need to bring Justin back for more parent talk
I love that.
Yeah.
on a future Fox
That's a
10
fantastic
Talks.
idea.
But as of right now, we say our goodbyes. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back again tomorrow with more Fox 10 Talk.